I'm Dr. Christy, and this is Climbing Fish Parenting, practical parenting strategies in 20 minutes or less. I'm a psychologist and behavior analyst, and I work with exhausted, overwhelmed parents who feel like they've tried everything and nothing works. If you're listening to this while folding the laundry, hiding in your car, or wishing bedtime would just end already, you're in the right place. Today, we're talking about building a support system when you feel totally alone. By the end of this episode, you'll understand why parents of kids who are wired differently often end up isolated, what support you actually need versus what people think you need, and exactly how to build a team that can actually help you sustain this marathon. Ready to transform your parenting journey? Let's dive in. I'm going to start with something painful but true. If you're parenting a child who's wired differently and you feel completely alone in it, that's not random, and it's not your fault. There are very specific, predictable reasons why parents in your situation end up isolated, often right when they need support the most. Maybe family members don't understand why you do things differently and think you just need to be stricter. Maybe friends stopped inviting you places because your child's behavior is unpredictable. Maybe you can't find a babysitter who can handle your child's needs, so you haven't had a break in months or years. I've lived that one. Maybe you're exhausted from constantly explaining, educating, and advocating, and it's just easier to withdraw than to keep fighting for understanding. Whatever the specific reasons, the result is the same. You're carrying an enormous load with very little support, precisely when you need more support than most parents ever will. And here's what makes this so damaging. Isolation doesn't just make parenting harder emotionally, it actually impairs your capacity to parent effectively. Research shows that social isolation increases cortisol levels, decreases cognitive flexibility, and makes emotional regulation significantly harder. In other words, the less support you have, the harder it becomes to do the work of parenting a child who needs constant co-regulation. You're not supposed to do this alone, but our culture sets up parents, especially parents of kids with higher needs, to be isolated, then blames them when they struggle. So let's talk about why this happens, what support you actually need, and how to build it even when you feel like you're starting from nothing. Most people don't actually know how to help. It took me years to understand this. Some of the people in your life, most of the people, genuinely want to help you. They're not intentionally abandoning you, but they have no idea what you actually need, and they're often too uncomfortable to ask. So they offer generic help. Let me know if you need anything, and then they never hear from you because you don't know how to translate your overwhelming, complex needs into a simple request. Or they offer the wrong kind of help that would work for a parent with a typically developing child, but doesn't work for you. I can watch your kid for a few hours, but your kid needs someone who understands their sensory needs, their anxiety patterns, their communication style. A well-meaning but unprepared babysitter doesn't actually give you a break. It gives you anxiety about what might go wrong while you're gone. Or they offer help that comes with judgment. I can help, but have you tried just being more consistent? That's not support. That's criticism with a smile. Here's what research on social support shows. The quality of support matters more than the quantity. One person who truly gets it and offers the right kind of help is way more valuable than 10 people who mean well but don't understand your reality. The fix? You need to get very specific about what help actually looks like for you, and you need to stop waiting for people to figure it out. Most people need explicit instruction on how to support you effectively. Step 1. Identify what support you actually need, not what you think you should need. Before you can ask for help, you need to know what help would actually be helpful. And often, what you need is different from what other parents need. Here's what I mean. Maybe what you need isn't someone to watch your child so you can go out. Maybe what you need is someone to be in the house with you, folding laundry, making dinner, just being another regulated adult present while you handle your child's needs. Maybe what you need isn't advice. Maybe what you need is someone to listen without trying to fix anything or offer suggestions. Maybe what you need isn't someone to play with your child. Maybe what you need is someone who will sit quietly and read next to your child who can't handle interactive play but benefits from parallel presence. Maybe what you need isn't a break from your child. Maybe what you need is someone to handle the other life tasks, the grocery shopping, the appointment scheduling, the phone calls, so you can actually be present with your child instead of constantly splitting your attention. The support that actually helps you might look nothing like the support other parents need, and that's okay. The fix. Make a list of your actual needs, not what you think you should need, not what help looks like for other parents. What would genuinely make your life more sustainable? Be specific. I need someone to pick up my grocery order every Thursday. I need someone to text with who won't judge me when I'm having a hard day. I need someone to help me draft emails to my child's teacher. I need someone to take a 20-minute walk with me once a week. Once you know what you actually need, you can start asking for it specifically. And this isn't easy, folks. I can tell you, there was a time I had a friend listen to me complain about talking to my insurance company about medications. When I was all done, she said, "I could call for you. Would that be helpful?" I felt this huge weight lift off of my chest. I hadn't even determined that that was something that I truly needed. Once I knew, that was something that I could ask for. Step 2, ask for help specifically, not "let me know if you need anything" kind of help. Here's what actually works. Specific requests for specific help. Not, "I'd love some help," but "can you pick up my grocery order this Thursday at 3 p.m.? Ask, "Can I text you on hard days? I don't need advice, just someone who won't judge me." Specific requests are easier to say yes to because the other person knows exactly what you're asking for and exactly what commitment they're making. And here's what's critical. You're not asking too much. You're asking for what you need. I promise you that if you ask once, people will then take the initiative. If someone can't help with that specific thing, they can say no, but at least you've given them a clear opportunity to actually support you. Pick one person you think might be willing to help. Identify one specific thing that would genuinely help you. Then ask directly, "I need that specific thing on that specific day and time. Are you available to help with that?" If they say yes, great. If they say no, accept it and move on to the next person. You're not begging. You're giving people clear opportunities to support you. Step 3, find your people, the ones who already speak your language. Here's something that will save you enormous amounts of energy. Stop trying to make people understand who don't get it, and instead invest your energy in finding people who already do. You know what's exhausting? Explaining to your mother-in-law for the 100th time why your child needs accommodations. Justifying to friends why you can't just make your child sit still at the restaurant. Educating every teacher, doctor, and well-meaning stranger about your child's needs. That translation work is necessary sometimes, but it shouldn't be where you get your support. Support should come from people who don't need the translation, who already understand because they're living similar realities. Where do you find these people? Online communities of parents raising kids who are wired differently, Facebook groups, Reddit communities, forums focused on ADHD, autism, anxiety, sensory processing, whatever your child's specific challenges are. Support groups either through schools, hospitals, or community organizations. Even if they're virtual, having a regular group of people who get it can be a lifeline. Therapists or coaches who specialize in supporting parents of kids with higher needs. Not therapists who work with your child, therapists who work with you, other parents at your child's school or therapy practice. You're all in the waiting room together. Sometimes just making eye contact with another exhausted parent and saying, "This is hard, isn't it?" opens a door. These are your people. The ones who don't need you to explain why your child can't handle birthday parties. The ones who won't judge you for ordering takeout 5 nights a week. The ones who will text you, "I see you," on a hard day, and you'll know they really do see you. The fix? Stop investing energy trying to make people understand who don't get it. Start actively looking for your people, the ones who already speak your language. Even finding one person who truly gets it can break the isolation. Step 4, build your professional team and fire anyone who doesn't actually help. Here's something parents don't talk about enough. Sometimes the support system you have is actually making things harder, not easier. Maybe your child's therapist is great with your child, but dismissive of your concerns. Maybe your child's teacher says they want to help, but never follows through. Maybe your doctor keeps suggesting strategies that don't work for your child's specific needs. These people are technically on your team, but they're not actually supporting you, and continuing to work with them drains your energy without providing value. You're allowed to fire people from your team. You're allowed to switch therapists, request a different teacher, find a new doctor. You're allowed to stop working with professionals who aren't actually helping, even if they're well-meaning or highly recommended. Here's what to look for in a professional team member. They listen to you about your child. They treat you as the expert on your own child, not as an obstacle to overcome. They're willing to adapt their approach based on what's actually working, not just what the textbook says should work, and what's actually working in real life. If it's working in the office, but it doesn't translate to home, it doesn't count. They communicate clearly and follow through on what they say they'll do. They validate the difficulty of what you're managing, not just the difficulty of what your child is experiencing. If someone on your team doesn't meet these criteria, start looking for their replacement. Your energy is too limited to waste on professionals who aren't actually helping. The fix? Audit your current professional team. Who is genuinely helping? Who is draining your energy without providing value? Start looking for replacements for anyone in the second category. You deserve a team that actually supports you. I've done this before, and it was super liberating. I've had doctors who were just the top of their field, but they were draining us, causing my kids and I to feel yucky every time we met with them, and we fired them. And now we have a great team. Step 5. Protect your energy by letting go of draining relationships. Here's the hard truth. Some relationships need to end or be significantly reduced when you're parenting a child who's wired differently. Not because those people are bad, not because you're being dramatic, but because you have limited energy, and relationships that consistently drain you without supporting you are luxuries you can't afford right now. Maybe it's a family member who constantly criticizes your parenting. Maybe it's a friend who only talks about their own life and never asks about yours. Maybe it's someone who says they want to help, but never actually follows through. Maybe it's people who make you feel judged every time you interact. These relationships might have worked fine when you had more capacity, but right now, they're taking more than they're giving. And here's what I need you to hear. It's okay to protect your energy by setting boundaries with or stepping back from people who drain you. You don't owe anyone access to your life, especially when that access is actively making it harder for you to function. This doesn't have to be dramatic or permanent. Sometimes it's just reducing contact, seeing someone twice a year instead of twice a month, keeping conversations surface level instead of deep, saying, "I'm not available," without explaining why. You don't need to justify your boundaries. You don't need to make people understand. You just need to protect your limited energy for the people and tasks that actually matter. The fix? Identify relationships that consistently drain you without supporting you. Then start setting boundaries. Reduce contact. Limit topics of conversation. Stop trying to make them understand. Your energy is too precious to waste on relationships that deplete you. Step 6. Accept that your support system will look different than other people's. That's okay. Maybe you don't have weekly playdates with other moms. Maybe your village is mostly online. Maybe your main support person is a therapist you pay, not a family member. Maybe you have one reliable person instead of a whole network. Our culture has this idea that good parents have bustling social lives, kids with busy activity schedules, extended family nearby, and a network of friends they see regularly. But when you're parenting a kid who's wired differently, that model often doesn't work. Your kid might not tolerate playdates. Your family might not tolerate your kid's needs. Your friends might have drifted away, and that's okay. What matters isn't what your support system looks like from the outside. What matters is whether it actually supports you. One reliable person who truly gets it is more valuable than 10 people who mean well but don't understand. One online community where you feel seen is more valuable than a whole neighborhood that judges you. One therapist who validates your reality is more valuable than a dozen well-meaning friends who keep suggesting you just need to try harder. Stop comparing your support system to other people's. Build the support system that actually works for your family's needs and your capacity. Let go of what you think your support system should look like. Focus on building what actually helps you, even if it looks nothing like what other parents have. Let me bring this all together. Building a support system when you're parenting a child who's wired differently isn't about having lots of people around you. It's about having the right people. People who understand your reality, who offer specific help you can actually use, who don't drain your already limited energy. It's about knowing what you actually need and asking for it. Specifically, it's about finding your people who already speak your language. It's about building a professional team that actually helps and firing anyone who doesn't. And it's about protecting your energy by letting go of relationships that drain you. You're not supposed to do this alone, but the support you need might look different than what other parents need, and that's okay. What matters is building something sustainable, something that can actually help you run this marathon without burning out. All right, that's it for today. Remember, feeling isolated when you're parenting a child who's wired differently isn't random. It's predictable. But you can build support by identifying what you actually need, asking for specific help, finding your people, building your professional team, and protecting your energy from draining relationships. One reliable person who gets it is worth more than 10 who don't. Quality over quantity, always. If this was helpful, hit subscribe so next week's episode shows up automatically. And head to my website at www.climbingfishparenting.com to sign up for my newsletter. This week's swim strategy, the bonus insight exclusive to the Climbing Fish Parenting newsletter, is a word-for-word script for asking for help that actually gets people to say yes, something I didn't cover in the podcast, but will make asking for support feel way less awkward. That strategy I just gave you? It's the whole climbing fish philosophy in action. There's a quote, "Everybody's a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing it's stupid." Your kid isn't broken. Your parenting isn't broken. Sometimes we're just asking our fish to climb trees. That's what we fix here. I'm Dr. Christy, and I'll see you next week.